Johnny Doe touched on by Trevor Best out to the open country. There goes Johnny Devine. Picks it up. No, yes he does. Lines up the goal, shoots. And another goal to North Hobart. Whitmore immediately putting New Norfolk into attack with a glorious kick. Another lovely mark to pull forward Jeff Gill. A hand pass by Nussling to Leo. Leo lines them up. Beautiful football.
And Wade brings it out.
Well, the Roos seem to have really lifted their work rate. Takes the mark, plays on immediately to Stevie Wright. Can he kick one this time?
They are in to the 1993 TFL Grand Final. Gibson, oh, recovery, beautiful. Strickland, here's Rhys Jones. Can he kick the winning goal? He's put it through!
And it's North Launceston into the Grand Final against the Roos next week.
Yes, it's grand final day of 1993, and there's the shot from our high camera. And I believe North Launceston are just out on the ground. The grand final only 10 minutes away, and there are the Robins, and won't they be fired up? We believe there is a late change to their side, and Timmy Oldenoff is out there, number 20, and the man omitted from the team is Dale Chugg. At the other end of the ground, out are coming Clarence, the hot favourites. As we see all this colour, the Teal Cup sides on the boundary line. And there are the Clarence boys, and there's a lot of people on the oval at the moment. And Stevie Wright geeing up the boys there, and the grand final is only 10 minutes or so away. And welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 1993 Statewide League Grand Final. It's our biggest ever attempt to try and capture all the excitement, all the spills and thrills of such a day. And we've got 11 cameras here. We'll be getting into the dressing rooms. We'll be doing interviews. We'll be doing all sorts of things. And we've got a big team with 6 commentators, only probably one of which knows what he's talking about. That's Robert Shaw. The rest of us don't. And it's about time we got into that mode, fellas, because we normally G each other up. And there's Chizza getting G'd up. And here are the Robins going through that banner. And that's a significant change with Oldenoff into the side. There he is at the back. And Dale Chugg out. So I wonder what's wrong with Dale Chugg and whether Tim Oldenoff will be okay to proceed. He's been out for some 10 weeks now, and of course the early doctor's advice was that if he copped a bad injury to his hip, he could do some permanent damage. So I hope he's well aware, and the Robins are well aware of the risk that he could play. But often, on occasions, guys, when you bring in a player who's pretty fresh, they spark up.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think that it may affect them over the long term, but this is a one-off thing, and players do have a very, very good record of coming up on one occasion for one big effort, and I've got confidence in the boy to do it. It's very unlucky for Chugg because he's a very good player. He's obviously got some sort of serious injury, and that's something we'll have to find out a little bit later on.
Well, a couple of weeks ago they brought in Glenn Johnson, who'd missed a lot of football over the course of the year, and he was their best player in the last half of the second semi-final, and ended up winning the game for them in the preliminary final last week. So they'll be looking to do the same thing, I would suppose, with Timmy Oldenoff today.
Gee, it's a risk though, Rob, isn't it? Because he hasn't played for 10 weeks. You know, finals footy, I suppose, are teams where you'd like to have a fairly settled lineup, and to bring somebody in like that is a risky move as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it is obviously a risk on paper, but he's got a 2-hour game in front of him. He's a lively young lad. He's obviously a very fit young kid, and I think he'll do okay. It remains to be seen. We're all pretty clever in hindsight, but you know, as Dave alluded to before, I think this is a big chance for Rhys Jones to put his hand up, go to centre half back, and do the job that we expect him to do in this grand final.
Well, one would think that Oldenoff will play centre half forward because that's where he's played so well. He's probably the best centre half forward into the competition, and for Rhys Jones to go to centre half back would be a bit of a surprise, and just might be the bit of spark they need.
Well, let's now go down to ground level, and our man down on the ground, John Kenny.
And Rob, absolutely tremendous atmosphere down here, and I must say congratulations to the TFL, because the pre-match preliminaries have really got the crowd on their feet. They are waiting for this one day of the year. Conditions absolutely perfect. As I look across, there's a breeze blowing across the ground. It's not going to have any great effect on the ground. It's blowing across towards Ryde Street. The playing surface itself in absolutely first-class condition. Now, I'm certainly keyed up. I haven't haven't gone across the white line, but Chizza has. He's out there in the middle somewhere. What's it like out there, Chizza?
John, I've finally done it, mate. I'm back out in the middle again, grand final day. It's absolutely sensational out here. It's electrifying. The people are looking great, but everything's happening out here. And yes, I must congratulate the TFL as well. It's tremendous presentation. The whole thing is working right to the letter. The North Launceston side look extremely fit. I don't think they'll worry too much about the loss of Chug. They've got a player that can come in, can do the job for them. The other side over here now, Clarence are warming up, and it's just electrifying out here. It is tremendous. The conditions in the centre of the ground are perfect. The umpires are bouncing the ball beautifully out here at the moment. I hope they continue to do that, and I think we're in for an electrifying day of football. This out here, that breeze you talked about, John, is just very slight. It's not too great, so it's not going to favour any side. We've had people jumping out of the sky. We've got planes flying around with thank you, Tassie, for supporting statewide football. It's all happening here in the middle of North Hobart, mate. I am fired right up. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Peter Chisnell on the boundary line, and good on you guys down there at ground level, and it looks absolutely spectacular. And fellas, we've discussed the late changes to the side here as we look at the high camera here, which is being provided here this afternoon. But Rob, we've put you in an unfair position in many ways, because you wouldn't have seen a lot of TFL football. But what knowledge have you about the two teams?
Well, Clarence have been the trendsetters all year and a very good side. They won the second semi-final despite some poor kicking in the last quarter. But look, I've got an enormous amount of respect for the North Launceston Football Club. I'll give them a very, very big chance here, and I know I'm repeating myself, but they must come up with something just to get them off to a good start. Throw Spearman up to the forward line, Reece Jones to centre half back, and take it from there.
Well, Gary, let's go through the lineup here this afternoon. It's been pretty settled for a long time now.
Yeah, especially that six that play up the back half of the ground. Rob Browns has been in terrific form. I thought he was probably one of their better players in the second semi-final. Winter, of course, will get a job, and the two youngsters in the back pockets, McCallum and Holm, usually play fairly ferociously. And of course, their forward line, that's the major worry that I have for the Clarence side today. Adams hasn't been in great form, Richards neither. Hurd and Bug did the goal scoring last week. The last time they played, rather, in the second semi-final. And they've got a bit of support off the interchange bench with Cullen and Williams, who's very quick and very clever around the goals.
Dave, you look at the forward lines and you talk about Clarence has got a problem on the forward line. So too really of North Launceston, haven't they, on that forward line of theirs. You can see their forward line there with Reece Jones in front of goals, Proctor at centre half forward, Gibson on the half forward flank. By rights on paper, they should have a good forward line, but we've seen in recent weeks them struggle up forward.
Well, look, I wouldn't be surprised today if Reece Jones plays up forward for him to kick 5 or 6. He's certainly got the capabilities, but I believe he's got to move around. He can't restrict himself to the goal square and expect the ball to keep coming in at him. He's got to really move around and create some opportunities for everything that comes into that front half of the ground.
The grand final is just about to get underway. The balloons have been let go in the centre. We've had the national anthem. And what a great occasion this is. There must be just a special buzz running through the players from both sides. And how big a part does nerves play, Rob?
Well, this is the one they've worked for, and controlling the nerves is very important. It's very important that both sides attack the ball, because giving away free kicks and giving away early goals is not on in a grand final, and it can mean the difference. So I just hope both sides go hard and fair at the ball, and there'll be a terrific start to this game.
OK, well, we might now get a selection from you all. Jim Wilkinson.
I'm going for the Roos, Rob. I think they've been the major trendsetters throughout the year. They've only lost 2 games, so for mine, winning form's good form, so I'm going for the Roos. But North Launceston impressed me in that last... And therefore they could easily cause an upset. I'm not sitting on the fence, though. I'm falling onto Clarence's side.
Rob, I'm going for North Launceston. I just think that they've shown some improved form on this North Hobart Oval in such a way that I think the players are starting to feel comfortable with coming down to play on the smaller ground, as distinct from the expanses of York Park. So I'm going for North Launceston, and particularly if they can pull a couple of surprise moves to throw the Clarence bench.
Exactly, Davo, and that's something we've been talking about all the time. Just hope it happens, because it'll give North Launceston a terrific chance. I'll give them a good chance. Clarence, the form side, the side that should win this grand final, but anything's possible today.
Okay, the toss has been won by North Launceston. They're kicking to the Horry-Gorring stand end, and Oldenoff into the side, chug out.
Well, they've simply replaced Oldenoff, chug rather, with Oldenoff at centre half back, but one would suspect if they're really looking to get a good start in this game, they're going to have to play him in the forward line. He's very good overhead. He's very good when it hits the ground for a tall player, and I suppose, as we've talked, Reece Jones in the goal square, if he plays there, he's got to be a mobile target. He can't just wait for the ball to come to him, or perhaps Oldenoff and Reece Jones would swap places. Todman, no doubt, will get a job on perhaps Stevie Wright. What Stevie Wright does, because whilst he's being tagged, only time will show.
David Reece Jones there in the middle. A time of quiet contemplation before the game starts here. And we might see if we can go down on the boundary line. Just get a quick selection from both Chizza and John Kenny. John, firstly to you.
Yes, thanks, Rob. Well, I'm looking after Clarence this afternoon, but I just have a feeling that North Launceston might get up. Grand final number 3 in statewide football. I guess I'm really perhaps speaking with the heart a little bit, and I just have a feeling it might be North Launceston.
And Chizza?
Yes, I'm going for North Launceston as well. I think the hard game last week's going to bring them right along, and I think that that's going to be probably the end result will be that they've had that tough game last week. It will bring them up, I think.
There is a huge crowd in attendance here this afternoon. I think the crowd would be over 14,000. It's certainly larger than last year. Jim, you've been the crowd man all year, and you've been unbelievably accurate too.
Thanks, Rob. I was wondering when you were going to mention that, but I would have thought 14 and a half is a good number for it at the moment. It's certainly bigger than last year. There's no doubt about that. And I think the TFL will be fairly happy with the crowd today. Terrific day, 2 very good clubs. You can't ask for a better game than this.
Good move by Reece Jones. Davo into the centre square already on Ricky.
Yes, and Proctor's gone to centre half back. Had a disappointing game in the preliminary finals. Gone to centre half back to pick up Adams. So Reece Jones on Richie. The other Todman has had to come into the forward pocket. He's tagging Wade.
And something I got a whisper on in training, but was swore to secrecy, is that righties put Andrew Scott onto Todd Spearman, probably to negate Spearman somewhat. But Andrew Scott's a very good forward.
Okay, and Tim Oldenoff's playing at centre half forward for the Robins. So we're away in the grand final for 1993. It's Ahern and Dean. Jones, they get it out of the centre first. Richie charges up towards full forward. Hurd gets there first, got a crook bounce. Proctor loses it. Winter, he might kick the first. You would have got long odds on that. Spearman went over the top of Winter. In towards full forward. Richards over the line. Dodds introduces himself to a few spectators. So it'll be Proctor. Davies. Chance here for Wade. Can he get boot to ball? No. And the umpire's paid a kick against him. And it'll go to his shadow, Marcus Todman.
So Todman.
Our microphones sound wretched.
His first kick of the grand final goes out long to the half-back flank. Mark taken by the beanpole Dean. First grand final for Dean. Not a bad prospect either, as he kicks towards Adams. Adams in front. To ground comes the ball. Wade feeds it off well. Todman gets one high, and he gets the free kick.
Okay, so the Robins defending. Marcus Todman at full back. Up towards the wing. And the umpire's picked out a free kick here. David Reece Jones.
Gee, let's hope they're not going to pull it up as we've seen over the course of the year, Rob. They should let the game flow for the first 15 minutes and let both sides settle down.
Okay, the centre half forward. Loon in towards full forward. Gibson. Hulme out of bounds. Is it deliberate? The Robins appealing for it. That'd be a risky one at this stage.
Holmes got Gibson. That should be another match-up in the goal square.
Yes, and Darren Winter just hasn't got anybody at the moment, so I think the ploy of putting Reece Jones onto the ball has thrown them a little bit.
Johnston from about 30 metres screws it around. Doesn't screw it back enough, and it's gone out of bounds and on the fall. Hulme will take the kick.
Well, no doubt about the grand final, isn't it? It brings them out of everywhere. People that always follow the footy in the paper. they say, look, I don't go but to a couple of games. They're here always at the grand final. The mark should have been paid to Winter. It wasn't. The Roos feed it off. Chance for them to come through. Bug down towards half forward. Punched down well by Adams, but away goes Davies. He's been a fine player for them in the final series. The pass, a good one to Cremascotham. Through they go, the centre of the ground, through Hawkins. Hawkins down to full forward. Fry's in the box seat. Well, where's the handle? Stephen Fry can't find it. Dean can. He's tripped. Free kick. Well, Holm made a blue there. And away goes Brownless off the table. And the Roos out of trouble, but could it only be momentarily. About a kick and a half from goal. And not a bad opening, Davo.
Yeah, fairly frenetic, Jim. And whilst it's going to take a while for a side to settle down, the team that gets the first score on the board is certainly going to feel a little more comfortable.
Holdsworth with the thump. And is that Hurd going in there against Loon? No, it was Andrew Scott Jr. 2 Andrew Scotts today, senior and junior. The older or the younger, which one? Doesn't matter. Brownless, brother Billy watching today. Holdsworth taps it forward. Still they push it forward. Rhys Jones gets away from Winter. Cremascotham. Davies tripped. Gets the free kick. So Davies in towards the centre, looks for Johnston and finds him. Spearman. Will he get the run of it? No. Cut off by Bug. And it's gone over the line out of bounds. No score yet.
Rhys Jones has started well, Rob. Already had 2 or 3 touches, while his counterpart and best mate, Stephen Wright's been very quiet in the first 5 minutes.
Ritchie doing his own roving work. Handball, not a bad one either. Free kick picked out. Player to take it. That's McCallum. Over to Wright. Stevie Wright has one bounce. Can do another. Through the centre he comes, having a look upfield. Scott's waiting. Picks it up on the half volley. Down to full forward. He's going to look for Richards. Richards in front. Over the back. Holdsworth. Could be a golden opportunity. It's a goal. First one of the grand final. The Roos drew first blood. And Paul Holdsworth's got one beside his name.
Yeah, great crumbing. He really ran with the flight of the ball to the marking contest to Richards and Dodds. And he's a very, very good finisher with the football all over the ground. But certainly when he's running into an open goal, you could always put it down in your program as a goal to Paul Holdsworth.
So the first goal of the match to Clarence. Paul Holdsworth, what an important player. And we're back in the middle now at Hearn and also Dean. Oldenoff to Rhys Jones, beautifully tackled by Cooney, and it spills to Brownless. Brownless to half forward to Adams in front of Proctor. Richards on the lead, he might go longer. Look for Duncan Hurd. Battling against Davies. Davies always in the better position there. Support from Hawkins. Will he try and keep it in? No. And it spills free. Early indications, guys. Clarence doing most of the attacking.
Adams looks dangerous too on Proctor. He's got mobility and they're using him very well.
Richards to do the ruck work. Knocks it down to the 10-metre square. Not a bad job by him. He was looking for Scott. In the way, though, Hawkins goes straight across goals. And always a bit risky that when you're looking for the boundary line, but he rolled it across pretty well then. And you can see that forward line of the Roos fairly crowded. About 20-odd players down there in the forward pocket. Richards rucking against Hearn and winning. He goes Hurd. Hurd likes a shot for goal. That one not kind to him. Minor score.
Actually, that'll be an interesting battle today. Duncan Hurd on Davies. Davies probably been the form defender for the North Launceston side. He's had a terrific final series. Hurd kicked 3 in the second semi-final. Davies has obviously got the job today.
Okay, Big Dodds. He's a big thumping long kick. Look at that, right out there towards Proctor, who was outnumbered. Kremer roves it well, and Todman's got a paddock in front of him. Very open North Launceston forward line. Strickland, the leading half forward, taps it away from Fry. Here's Gibson. He'll go back to Strickland. Here's Todman, 30 out, can kick there first. He's put it through. A goal each.
Terrific play by Todman. Got the ball in the back half here at the Clarence end of the ground. Involved in a couple of passages of play. Good contest by Strickland in the forward pocket to knock the ball back into play. And that's a terrific running effort.
And you can see the Todman running back into defence. Scotty Wade still down there, so the message is obviously going out to Scott Wade. Listen, mate, you have to do some defensive running as well and man up. You just can't let them run down the field like that. A back pocket kicking a goal from 30 metres out. It's not on grand final day.
First 8 or 9 minutes, you look at the stats, 13 kicks apiece, 5 handballs to Clarence and 6 to North Launceston. So a very even first quarter of footy. Getting pretty excited up here in the box, as well as we can see a Hearn tap down. Mark taken by Rhys Jones. Better player up the ground, Davo?
Well, I think he's going to pull himself into the centre square as often as he can do.
Down to the forward pocket. Timmy Oldenoff, first grab for 10 weeks, can't bring it down. Brownless tried to clear them, but he won't do much with that. Only about 15 metres he gained for his team with that little kick. So we'll see a throw in right on that 50-metre mark, as you can see. Dean doing the ruck work. Over the back comes Winter. Ball clear. Simpson about to pounce. So too Ritchie. Always down there in the engine room. Even though he had arms and legs pumping, I don't think he was too keen to get that ball out into the open spaces. By Gilmore have a bounce.
No fisticuffs yet. No real fireworks. Both sides concentrating on the football. Dean pumps it forward. Hawkins looking for the free kick. Umpire lets it go. Comes to Andrew Scott Sr. Round the corner. Proctor in better position. Adams does well though. Bumps him off it. Hurd close to the boundary line. Oh, he takes them on here. Uses his pace to get away from Todman. Goes for home. Across the face. Out of bounds on the full. And he really had nothing on offer there, so he had to have a shot. Big long kick from Dodds out towards the wing again. Loon bumps it off towards Olds. Olds running through the centre towards half forward. Beautiful kick. And Ahern not without a chance. Now Olds comes back again. He's got a wall of players in front of him. Oh, he's too slow. Dropped it. Taken by Jones.
Jones from centre half back looking for Adams again. He's the target at centre half forward. Can't mark. Hawkins copped one a bit high. Play on's the call. Coming out now to Roney. Roney's kick out to centre wing. Spearman. Oh, too quick and too clever for Bug. From centre half forward or half forward flank, he goes down to the full forward line looking for Gibson. But the Roo defence, it's been solid all year. Still pretty solid, Davo.
Yeah, so they've been a very settled back half all year. And Holm and McCallum, they epitomise that real urgency about defensive footy.
So the Robins deep into attack now. Oldenoff contests against Dean. Rhys Jones can't collect it. Right, first real touch. And couldn't gather it.
There's a move being made here, Davo. The elderly Andrew Scott's going into the back line. And Peter Ricky's been put out on the Todd Spearman on the half forward flank.
So Dean and Oldenoff again. Here's Winter. And Oldenoff forces him over the fence. Still in. Winter kept it in. Simpson picked it up in towards full forward. Chance here for North Launceston. Strickland sizes up the goals. He's put a throw on the left. The Robins in front.
They brought Michael Strickland into the side to give them a bit of bite in that forward line, and we've seen him kick goals over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Not bags of them, but he's always been there chipping about. Very skillful both sides. He just sized up the opportunity and let it go with his non-preferred foot. It really is shaping up to be whoever gets the ball around the middle of the ground and gets it forward quickly, they're going to have the best opportunity to set up a winning score.
The Robins 12, the Roos 7. There it is on your screen. 5 points the difference in what has been a very good opening first quarter of footy. 12 minutes gone. The tap to the Roos once more. The Robins go forward. They're getting it out of the centre well.
Been good, Krimaskaisen. Been very good.
Pass, good one as well. Strong backs. Loon, he's always pretty clever. He was about to get round Fry, but the free kick's picked out.
Strickland's hurt a bit, but met very heavily.
He's not practising touching the toes at the moment either. To stretch those hammies, he's really gasping the air in for a bit of breath, and this is how it happened.
Now that's a fair bumpers. Terrific effort by Strickland. Actually, the young Clarence boy was coming back the other way, and that was also a great effort by him.
McCallum was the player who met Strickland, who kicked their last goal.
Andrew Scott and Rhys Jones are at it now in the right forward pocket there.
Well, that's been the move, Shorey. Scott's been taken off Spearman to put onto Rhys Jones, and I'm just trying to pick up who Darren Winter's got. I think Winter's actually backing back into the centre circle.
So Strickland, he's taken a long time to recover. Right on 50. Shot in towards goal.
Great mark.
Tremor. Well, he's a dangerous player. Some think he's the most important player in this team.
Well, he certainly covers a lot of territory. He's good when it hits the ground. He's just shown us how good he is overhead too. Paul Holdsworth has got the job on him, as he did do in the second semi-final. And if you do recall, Rob, Premiscothan ended up going to the goal square to play full forward for the latter stages of the game.
So he bangs it home. And it's been a great opening quarter of the 1993 TFL Grand Final, and the Robins have kicked 3.
Well, 3 in 12 minutes of football is not a bad start, and Clarence wouldn't be unhappy with the way they're going. I think things are just a little bit against them at the moment. They're just having a few problems picking up exactly